The next most common question after what can I put in my coffee, which was answered previously, is what can I drink when fasting?
I'm Jackie, here to answer questions about my journey from fat weakened to trim, strong, and healthy.
Ideally, the answer is water and electrolytes. We have a whole series on electrolytes here. But basically, any non-caloric beverage is fine. In terms of should you do artificial sweeteners or not, that depends on whether or not they make you crave real sugar. There is one study that shows, I believe, if I recall correctly, it was sucralose causes an insulin response. I haven't seen any studies that show any of the other artificial sweeteners do. Honestly, my feeling about that is along the lines of, I was diabetic for a long time. I've spent much time in diabetes groups and low carb groups on Usenet, on web boards, all over the place for decades. I have never seen a diabetic say their blood sugar went down because they drank a Diet Pepsi. If that were true, we would be screaming it from the rooftops. So there may be an increase in insulin with some sweeteners. There hasn't been enough research to say which ones are good or which ones are bad, but it's not significant enough to have cured diabetes yet, unfortunately. I still had to inject insulin when I drank Diet Pepsi. But the larger problem, in my opinion, is some people find that the taste of sweet makes them crave other sweets. If you're one of those people, sweeteners aren't for you, whether they're artificial or natural. Generally, water is a good answer. Sparkling water is also a good answer because it can be. Sparkling water, it depends on your point of view. I would say sparkling water makes me feel full. But one of my friends in the group, Sarah, says that sparkling water makes her feel bloated. It's the same thing, but we have different interpretations. Flavored sparkling water, I don't know what natural flavors or artificial flavors are. I don't have an opinion. I drink some of that stuff. I do try to make sure I get in some actual plain water every day. How much? Depends on how thirsty I am. I don't try to drink a certain amount of water or anything like that. I drink water, I drink Powerade, what is besides the water, what I consider a minimum, or but what I mean by a minimum amount of water, I drink a glass of water before I start drinking flavored crap. And I also drink my electrolytes. The electrolytes are not negotiable for me because I don't like feeling like crap. Your sodium is massively going to drop when you do keto and or fasting. And if you've been diabetic any length of time, you're short on potassium as well. And almost everyone, diabetic or not, is low on magnesium. So addressing that, absolutely. I do feel that non-caloric drinks are all fine in terms of weight loss or reversing diabetes. Whether they're healthy for you or not is a controversial subject that I do not have strong opinions on. So drink what you want as long as it doesn't have calories, or alternatively, like with coffee, all of the calories are from fat, not from carbohydrate and not from protein. All of your powdered creamers are out, pretty much. And what can I drink when I'm fasting? Whatever the heck you want. If it doesn't spike your insulin and it doesn't stop autophagy, which pretty much is carbs and protein, it's good. One of the things that is controversial to some degree is, can you drink bone broth when you're fasting? At the time that I started my fast, I was starting with Dr. Fung's then rules, which said if you were really hungry, you could have a cup of bone broth. Bone broth is an extreme health food, but it also does have a small amount of protein, and unfortunately it takes a very small amount of protein to stop autophagy. It's not going to affect your insulin, but it is, my interpretation of that is that it is going to pause the healing, but not affect the insulin or the diabetes so much. And it doesn't have enough calories to affect weight loss either. So pretty much what I did during my first fast, my hungriest period of the day is late afternoon, early evening. I had a cup of bone broth to chase it away. And one day I even had 2 on my first fast. Over time, I got better at fasting, and I didn't need that, and I do think that's better. The other thing I did, which I have not seen a lot of people do yet, is I have a little cheap, crappy snow cone machine off of Amazon, and I would grind up my ice to make snow cones. The thing is, it's just water, but it feels more like eating, and that got me through, particularly since my first fast was in August, and snow cones were a delight at that time. There's all sorts of sugar-free syrups you can get, or if you just like munching on ice. That pretty much covers what you can drink while you're fasting.